Okay, dear students, in the previous video lecture we have proved three properties related to eigenvalues and eigenvectors. So in this video we shall see some more properties of eigenvalues and eigenvectors. So before going to the properties of eigenvalues and eigenvectors, so have a look at this table. So in the first row we are having the matrix A, that is equal to 1 2 2 4, whose CH equation is lambda square minus 5 lambda is equal to 0. And in the next column we are having determinant of the matrix A. Determinant, see the determinant value here is 4 minus 4. Obviously determinant is equal to 0. Can you remember what do you call for such a matrix whose determinant value is 0? Yeah, you are right, that matrix is called a singular matrix. So a matrix is singular if and only if its determinant value is 0. Okay, so here the matrix A whose determinant value is 0, therefore this matrix is singular matrix. Next, in the next column or the last column, we are determining eigenvalues of this matrix. Anyhow, we have calculated here the CH equation. You solve this, you take lambda common here, so we get lambda into lambda minus 5 is equal to 0. On simplifying, you will get lambda is equal to 0 and lambda is equal to 5. These are the two eigenvalues of the given matrix A. Observe the second matrix A, whose order is 3 cross 3 square matrix. The CH equation for this is minus lambda cube plus 6 lambda square plus 16 lambda is equal to 0. Now in the next column you determine the determinant of this matrix, 3 cross 3 matrix. You know how to evaluate determinant of 3 cross 3 matrix. So if I evaluate this determinant value, see, you are going to get again 0, which means this matrix is also singular. Next, in the last column we are having the eigenvalues. If you solve this equation, see, you take lambda common, so we get lambda as common, and here we get minus lambda square plus 6 lambda plus 16 is equal to 0. So taking lambda common, obviously you are going to get one value of lambda as 0, and another one is the quadratic equation minus lambda square plus 6 lambda plus 16 is 0. You solve that, you are going to get two values for that, and those two values are minus 2 and 8. So therefore for this matrix A we are having three eigenvalues, and those three eigenvalues are 0, minus 2 and 8. Okay, next observe the third matrix A, minus 4 minus 6 3 5, a second order matrix whose CH equation is lambda square minus lambda minus 2 is equal to 0. And if I calculate determinant of this matrix, see, determinant of this is minus 20 plus 18 we get, that is equal to minus 2. Note that determinant value is not 0 here, which means this matrix is not singular. Okay, and if I solve this equation, lambda square minus lambda minus 2 is equal to 0, you will get these two values, 2 and minus 1, which are nothing but the eigenvalues. Eigenvalues for the matrix A, minus 4 minus 6 3 5. So now observe this table carefully. So here for the matrix A, first matrix A, eigenvalues are 0 and 5. One of the eigenvalue is 0. Next, for the matrix A in the second row, the eigenvalues are 0, minus 2, 8. One of the eigenvalue is 0. Okay, and for this matrix 3, that is A is equal to minus 4 minus 6 3 5, eigenvalues are not zeros. Am I right now? Yes, here in the first two rows we get one of the eigenvalue is 0. Okay, so now my question is, when do I get 0 as the eigenvalue? See, here 0 is the eigenvalue, 0 is the eigenvalue. Here 0 is not the eigenvalue. Eigenvalues are non-zeros. So my question now is, when do I get 0 as the eigenvalue? Is there any relation between 0 eigenvalue and determinant of that matrix? Yes, you are right. You see, we get 0 as the eigenvalue only when determinant of that matrix is 0. Okay, see, 0 is the eigenvalue, determinant is 0. 0 is the eigenvalue, determinant is 0. Here 0 is not the eigenvalue. Why? Because determinant of that matrix is not 0. Am I right now? Yeah. See, this matrix is non-singular matrix. So, non-singular matrix means determinant value is not 0. That's why we get eigenvalues as non-zero. You recall? We get 0 as the eigenvalue only when determinant of that matrix is 0. Means that matrix is singular. So therefore what we can conclude is, if a matrix is singular whose determinant value is 0, then we get 0 as the eigenvalue. If the matrix is non-singular, then we won't get 0 as the eigenvalue. In non-singular case, all the eigenvalues are different from 0. Okay, this is what is the one of the important property of eigenvalues. So now in the next slide we shall see the properties of eigenvalues, that is when do I get that 0 as the eigenvalue, in the next slide as the property of eigenvalues. Okay. The property is like this. Fourth property, 0 is an eigenvalue of a square matrix if and only if the matrix is singular. This is the important property we are having. Proof is very simple. You see, 0 is an eigenvalue of a square matrix if and only if matrix is singular. Okay, so you carefully read the statement. Here we are having the word if and only if. You might have all know the meaning of if and only if. If and only if means the proof of the property or theorem consists of two parts. Okay, yeah, what are those two parts? From to and fro, you know. Okay, so if I assume that 0 is an eigenvalue, then we have to show that matrix is singular. That is one part. On the other hand, second part, if I assume that matrix is singular, then we have to show that 0 is an eigenvalue. This is the meaning of if and only if. Okay, so now let us try to prove this property. So you take A as a square matrix of order n. Let us suppose that A be a square matrix of order n. Okay, now write down the CH equation of the matrix A. The CH equation of the matrix A is determinant of A minus lambda is equal to 0. You may all know this one. You should remember this one. CH equation of any matrix A is given by, mean square matrix A is given by determinant of A minus lambda is equal to 0. So next, in the first part, what we have to take is, you take lambda is equal to 0 is an eigenvalue. That is 0 is an eigenvalue. And you taking 0 is an eigenvalue, we have to show that matrix is singular. Singular means its determinant value is 0. So therefore I am taking lambda is equal to 0 is an eigenvalue of the matrix A. Then you substitute lambda is equal to 0 in the CH equation. Okay, we are taking lambda is equal to 0 as an eigenvalue. Substitute lambda is equal to 0 here. So we are going to get determinant of A minus 0 into I, identity matrix, is equal to 0. What is 0 into I? It is 0. Okay, what is A minus 0? A minus 0 is A only. So in LHS we only get determinant of A, that is equal to 0, which means determinant of A is 0, means the matrix A is singular. So therefore what we have proved here is, by taking lambda is equal to 0, we have proved A is singular. That is 0 is an eigenvalue, then A is singular. This is what is the proof of the first part. Now we have to prove the second part. Second part means you take matrix A is singular, show that 0 is an eigenvalue. It is called as converse part. Second part or converse part. So conversely, that is the converse part I am proving. I am taking A is singular. If A is singular, then what do we have? Determinant of that matrix is 0. Okay, next we have to show that 0 is an eigenvalue, that is lambda is equal to 0 is the eigenvalue we have to show. So for that I am considering the CH equation. See, CH equation, determinant of A minus lambda is equal to 0. That implies, you see, determinant of A minus lambda, in LHS we are going to make use of this result. Determinant of A plus B is equal to determinant of A plus determinant of B. It is true for minus also. Determinant of A minus B is equal to determinant of A minus determinant of B. Okay, so we are making use of this result here. So therefore, determinant of A minus lambda I, LHS, can be written as determinant of A minus determinant of lambda I. Of course, lambda is a number, numeral. It is nothing to do with determinant, so we can take that outside. We apply determinant only for matrices, not for numbers. Okay, so lambda is a number, so we take it outside the determinant. So we put determinant only for identity matrix. I is the matrix. Therefore, we put determinant for I only. Okay, yeah. So next, what is determinant of A? We have taken A is singular, therefore determinant of A is 0. Therefore, in place of determinant of A, I have written 0 here. Minus lambda into what is determinant of identity matrix? You remember, if I is a identity matrix of any order for that matter, of order 2, of order 3, of order 4, whatever may be the order of the identity matrix, its determinant value is always equal to 1. You should remember that. So therefore, in place of determinant of I have written 1 here. So in LHS we are going to get 0 minus lambda into 1. Lambda into 1 is lambda. So we get 0 minus lambda, we get 0 minus lambda is minus lambda. So we get minus lambda is equal to 0, or simply we can write, multiplying throughout by minus sign, we get lambda is equal to 0. So means lambda is equal to 0. Lambda means eigenvalue. Eigenvalue is 0. So what we have taken here? We have taken A is singular. A is singular. What we have proved here? Eigenvalue lambda is equal to 0. Eigenvalue lambda is equal to 0. This is what is the converse part. So therefore, if I assume that 0 is an eigenvalue, we can show that matrix is singular. On the other hand, if I assume that matrix is singular, we can show that 0 is an eigenvalue. This is the important property of eigenvalue. Okay, I think you people got the idea of proving this one. Okay, we shall move on to the next property. The property number 5. You observe this carefully. Every eigenvector of a matrix corresponds to one and only one eigenvalue of A. So read it carefully. Every eigenvector of a matrix A corresponds to one and only one eigenvalue of A. Can anybody tell me the meaning of this one? You see, for a eigenvalue, we can find many eigenvectors. For many eigenvectors, eigenvalue is 1. Eigenvalue is 1, which means eigenvectors are infinite. Eigenvectors are infinite, but eigenvalues are unique. One and only one eigenvalue. Okay, so the proof of this goes like this. Proof, what we have to show is here in this property, eigenvalue is unique. That's what we have to prove. We have to prove that eigenvalue is unique. So for that, can you remember how do you show uniqueness? Uniqueness of two numbers, uniqueness of two things. How do you show that? In order to show uniqueness, you take two things are different, and at the end you show that those two things are same. those two things are equal, then it proves the uniqueness of that things. You see, so for that what I am doing here is, you take lambda 1 and lambda 2 be two distinct eigenvalues corresponding to the same eigenvector x. See, there is an eigenvector x. For this eigenvector x, I am assuming lambda 1 and lambda 2 are two different distinct eigenvalues. Okay, our intention is to show that these two eigenvalues are same. One and only one means unique anta. Unique. One and only one means unique. Therefore, for this eigenvector x, if you take lambda 1 and lambda 2 are two different eigenvalues, then I have to show that lambda 1 and lambda 2 are equal. Okay, so the proof is very simple, one line proof. Yeah, so what is that proof? The proof is like this. See, if A is the matrix, x is the eigenvector and lambda is the eigenvalue, then we have Ax is equal to lambda x. Whenever you come across with the word eigenvector, you should remember this equation. Ax is equal to lambda x. Okay, in place of lambda, we have taken lambda 1 here. That's all. Because we have chosen lambda 1 as the eigenvalue. Similarly, for this eigenvalue lambda 2, we have the equation Ax is equal to lambda 2x. Okay, yeah, so we have these two equation, Ax is equal to lambda 1x and Ax is equal to lambda 2x. These are the equations we are having for the eigenvector x and for the eigenvalues lambda 1 and lambda 2. So now observe the LHS. LHS is Ax and here also LHS is Ax. LHS are same means their RHS must be same. So therefore we are having lambda 1x is equal to lambda 2x. Now bring lambda 2x to LHS. So we get lambda 1 minus lambda 2 of x is equal to 0 after taking x common. And since x is not equal to 0, we are having lambda 1 minus lambda 2 is equal to 0, which means that lambda 1 is equal to lambda 2. Or other words, if we can avoid these three statements by simply cancelling x on both sides here and saying lambda 1 is equal to lambda 2. See, from this one you can directly write lambda 1 is equal to lambda 2 by cancelling x on either side because x is not equal to 0, which means that we have taken two different values lambda 1 lambda 2 as the eigenvalues, and finally we have shown that those two are same, which means that the eigenvalues are unique. Okay, this is what is the proof of the second property of eigenvalues. Now we shall see the property in the next property in the next slide. Hence, every eigenvector of a matrix A corresponds to one and only one eigenvalue of the matrix A. Okay, so sixth property. So it is the bit lengthy. Statement is lengthy. Proof is not lengthy. Statement is lengthy here. So carefully observe. If x is an eigenvalue of the matrix A corresponding to the eigenvalue lambda, then for any non-zero scalar k, kx is also an eigenvector of A corresponding to the same eigenvalue lambda. You see, I am repeating. If x is an eigenvector corresponding to lambda, then I am multiplying x with kx. Kx is also an eigenvector corresponding to lambda. Don't multiply lambda, k here. Okay, x is the eigenvalue corresponding to lambda, then kx is also eigenvector corresponding to the same eigenvalue lambda. The meaning of this is, for a single eigenvalue, we can find infinite number of eigenvectors. This property we have seen in the previous property. There we have stated that eigenvalue is unique, eigenvectors are infinite. Okay, here also we are stating the same analogous to the previous property. If x is eigen value, then kx is also an eigen value corresponding to the same eigen value lambda, where k is non-zero. We can state this property in another way like this. That is, there are infinitely many eigen vectors corresponding to a single eigen value. Corresponding to a single eigen value, you can find infinitely many eigen vectors. Before going to the proof of this property, we shall have an example for this to make you understanding clearly about the property, about this property. See, the matrix A is like this. We have determined the eigen values of this as 1, 3, minus 4. We have solved this long back. Look at your notes. You see, the eigen values of this matrix are 1, 3, minus 4. Okay. Now, when lambda is equal to 1, eigenvalue lambda is equal to 1, we have determined eigenvector x as k0k. Taking k common, we get k into 1, 0, 1, where k is a scalar. This is what is the eigenvector corresponding to lambda is equal to 1. What is k here? K is any non-zero number. Any non-zero number. Okay. If I put k is equal to 1 here, we get 1, 0, 1. Okay. If I put k is equal to 2 here, we get 2 into this matrix. That is 2, 0, 2. If I put k is equal to 3, we get 3, 0, 3. If I put k is equal to minus 1, we get minus 1, 0, minus 1. If I put k is equal to minus 2, we get minus 2, 0, minus 2. Similarly, if we go on varying or changing the value of k, we are going to get different values for x. Those values are all called eigenvectors. All are eigenvectors corresponding to the same eigenvalue lambda is equal to 1, corresponding to the unique eigenvalue lambda is equal to 1, which means that lambda is equal to 1 eigenvalue is unique, but x eigenvector are infinite. That depends upon the value of k. Go on putting the values for k, you are going to get infinitely many eigenvectors corresponding to the corresponding to the same eigenvalue. That is what is the property says. Okay. If we go on changing the value of k, we get different eigenvectors corresponding to the same single eigenvalue lambda is equal to 1. That is what is the property says. Now, you see, while writing the notes, you don't write these sentences which are in red color. Okay, you write only the sentences in black color, and also don't write the information given in table. That is for your sake only. Don't write that in your notes. Now let us see the proof in the next slide. The proof is like this. Let x be the eigenvector corresponding to the eigenvalue lambda of some matrix A. You take one eigenvector x corresponding to some eigenvalue lambda. Okay. So now we have this equation. Okay. Whenever you come across the word eigenvector, then you should remember this. Ax is equal to lambda x. All of you should remember this one, this equation. Ax is equal to lambda x, where x is non-zero column vector. Next, you consider this one. Consider A into kx. This is the step you should remember. While proving this property, you remember this one. Consider A into kx, where A is the given matrix, k is a non-zero scalar, k is not matrix, remember, k is a scalar, number, numeral, and x is the non-zero column vector, this x not equal to 0. Remember, A is matrix here, x is matrix here, k is not matrix, k is a scalar, numeral. Okay. Yeah. So now we can interchange the brackets like this. Okay. we get a into k of x, interchanging just brackets. Because k is a numeral, we can combine k with a like this, and interchanging the bracket, you will get a into k x. We get a into k can be written as k into a. You remember, since k is a scalar, then we can write a into k as k into a. This is possible only when k is a number, k is a scalar. If k is again a matrix, then we cannot write ak as k into a. If k is a matrix, then you cannot write a into k as k into a. But k is not matrix, k is a number, so we can write a into k as k into a. We can write like this. Again, k is a scalar, so we can take it outside and we can combine a with x, that is k into ax. Got the idea? Okay, I'm repeating, a into kx can be written as, by interchanging the bracket, ak of x. Again, this is equal to ak can be written as k into a. And now you take k outside because it is a numeral and combine a with x, so we get this k into a of x, ax. So now in place of ax, what we can write? Can you say? In place of ax, what we can write? We can write lambda x. That's what I have written here. K into, in place of ax, we can write this lambda x. Okay, yeah. In the next step, we can interchange the k and lambda. You see, we can combine lambda with k into lambda. Now we can reverse that one k lambda as lambda into k and take lambda outside and combine k with x. So we get lambda into kx. I have avoided one step here. Okay, so the step you have to written here is, you interchange bracket here and write k lambda in bracket of x. Next you write k lambda as lambda into k. In the next step, you take lambda outside and you combine k with x. K is a number. Okay, yeah. So now you see, in the LHS we have a into kx. This is your LHS. In RHS we have lambda into kx. Lambda into kx. And note that k is non-zero scalar number and x is non-zero. K non-zero, x non-zero. Product kx is also non-zero. Product of two non-zero number is non-zero, quantity is non-zero again. See, what we are having is a into kx is equal to lambda into kx. You observe this equation. You compare this equation with this one. Ax is equal to lambda x. See, if I have ax is equal to lambda x, then we say x is the eigenvector corresponding to eigenvalue lambda. I'm repeating. If I have ax is equal to lambda x, then we say x is the eigenvector corresponding to the eigenvalue lambda. In the same way, in place of a, here we are having a. In place of x, here we are having kx. Now, in place of lambda, we are having lambda. In place of x, we are having kx. These two are same, you know. This one and this one are same. Only the different thing is, in place of x, here we are having kx. So therefore, what we can say is kx. Here we say x is the eigenvector, you know. In the same way, here we say kx is the eigenvector. Kx is the eigenvector corresponding to the eigenvalue lambda. You see, x is the eigenvector corresponding to the eigenvalue lambda. In the same way, kx is the eigenvector corresponding to the same eigenvalue lambda. Okay, so what we can say is kx is an eigenvector corresponding to the same eigenvalue lambda. You compare this and this equation, these two equations. Ax is equal to lambda x and this one. In place of a, we are having a. In place of x, we are having kx. Lambda, we are having lambda. In place of x, we are having kx. If I have this one, we can say x is the eigenvector corresponding to lambda eigenvalue. In the same way, we say here kx is the eigenvector corresponding to the eigenvalue lambda. Okay, so therefore, at the end we say that for the same eigenvalue lambda we can have kx as the eigenvector, infinitely many eigenvectors. This is what is the proof of the theorem, that is there are infinitely many eigenvectors corresponding to a single eigenvalue. Got the idea? So okay, so far we have seen the three properties related to the eigenvalues and eigenvectors. In the next coming slides we shall see some more properties. Okay, yeah, thank you.